Hey friends, I didn't know what to title this, so I hope you guys give me a little bit of latitude. But I was in Copenhagen, Denmark, a few days ago. I was in a hotel room, I woke up, I looked at my phone, and I got a text sometime the night before from a friend of mine back in Indianapolis, a person I've known for maybe 30 years, a good friend of mine. And he says, hey man, I was listening to Outlaw Country on Sirius XM and they played one of your songs. Isn't that great? And I was like, well, that's nice, but it just so happens they've played my music at least once a day for the last 15, 17, 18 years. And this friend of mine, it seemed to like he believed that maybe that was the first time they'd ever played me, or it was a rare occurrence. And I texted back and said, no, man, they've been really good to me. It's great that they play that. And he said, that's really cool. I didn't know that they'd been good to you for that long. And I said, I'm actually in Copenhagen. Last night I played in Gladsaxe, which is just outside of Copenhagen, and the place where Led Zeppelin played their first ever gig. I said, man, life's really crazy and fun. And he says, I had no idea you were over there. So this is a friend of mine, and he didn't know any of this stuff. Not that he should, but I would think that he would know. Another instance along the same lines is when I was living in Nashville, I came home to Indianapolis, and there's a music venue. I'm going to be really vague about this, but there's a music venue that I hung out at, and I went up to the bar, and the bartender's there. He's worked there forever. He's very embedded into the music scene in Indianapolis, and so he would know what's going on. He says, hey, Otis, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? I said, well, I live in Nashville. And he says, Nashville? When did you move to Nashville? I said, 10 years ago. He said, 10 years ago? What the? He says, well, do you still play music? And I was just kind of baffled. So yeah, actually I've had like the best 10 years of my musical career in the last 10 years. And he's just, well, what do you do? And I start naming these things that, I get to tour and people play and blah, blah. And I just hadn't been into his venue because I don't live there anymore. And when I come home, maybe I didn't have time. It just was kind of baffling to me. And the point of this video, I can and will name other instances, but the point of this video is it's unbelievably hard to get the word out. So I look at it this way. In my personal life, I do not expect my friends to be my fans. Those are two different things. If your friend just happens to be a fan, that's great, but that's a lot of pressure to put on a friend. But I kind of think that maybe they'd know a little bit about what's going on. And the point of this video is if it's that hard to get the word out to people who actually know you and care about you and you have a relationship, over time with, if it's this hard to get the word out to them, how hard is it to get the word out to everybody else? And after that thing with the bartender, I came home and was talking to Amy. I said, man, I am failing miserably at getting the word out. And I'm not the kind of person who's always trying to tell people everything I got going on. I really don't like that person. When you meet somebody and they're just completely hyping you up, I don't like that person. I don't want to hang out with that person or be around them. And it's just never that fun. It's uncomfortable for me to talk about some of these things right now to you guys, but it's part of it. And I remember telling Amy, it's like, I got to do a better job at getting the word out to people, and I don't exactly know how to do that. At the time, I would be posting on Facebook, and I would post about good things that were happening, and there'd be hundreds of, interactions, whether likes and comments, sometimes thousands, and a lot of people. And even this bartender was, and I believe even my friend that was, the guitar player that texted me in Copenhagen, they're friends of mine on Facebook, and but somehow this wasn't reaching them. And on Twitter, it's just social media. I'm using Facebook as an example. I abandoned Facebook a while back, where I go back every now and then and remind myself why I don't go there. But you guys are probably facing this in your own musical lives. Whatever you do, it's one thing to do it, but if you want the world, if you want to like try to get your music or art out to people in the world, we have to find ways to do it. And if you're not walking in through the front door of the music industry, you're probably having to do this yourself, and it's not a comfortable thing, self-promoting yourself. But I don't know, here I am on my YouTube channel talking about this. I don't have answers for any of it. I just want you guys to know that I realize this exists. Another instance, before I moved back to Indianapolis, I used to come up and have some meetings with some people, like the Chamber of Commerce in Indianapolis wanted to shine, or still wants to shine, a light on the creative people in Indianapolis. These are people who grew up going to the punk rock shows, you know, going to the art galleries, people that you would see in the DIY scene. Some of these people are holding office in Indianapolis now, and it's a very good thing. You know, they're trying to make this a city that they wish that they would have grown up in, make it easier for younger people. So they'd ask me questions, you know, what do you think? I said, well, there's moments when I've scratched my head. I remember a particular night in Stockholm, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band, which is from Central Indiana, originally from Indianapolis, they sold out a venue. They were playing in Stockholm the same night as I did. We both sold out our shows. Nobody back home knew that, you know. It just seems like the sort of thing that people should know about back home, that people that grew up and played in these bars and walked these streets sold out a venue on the other side of the world, you know. And there's another instance. I played a festival in Groningen, Holland, which I actually played in the same place just a week or so ago. But there was a festival there, and there were 3 different bands there, or acts or artists or whatever, that were from Central Indiana. There was me, there was Carl Brummel, who grew up in Indianapolis and plays in My Morning Jacket. They were playing the festival. And there was a guy from Lafayette whose name I can't remember, but he had a heart attack on stage that night in Groningen, or I would have never known that he was even there. And I apologize for not knowing his name, but I immediately started texting and emailing people back home saying, do you realize there was this festival where 3 artists from Central Indiana played there on the other side of the world? And no, we didn't know that. It seems like we got to do a better job of getting the word out. I don't know the answer to that. Like I said, I feel uncomfortable talking about giving you guys, I don't want to walk into a room and start handing out press releases to friends. That's ridiculous. I've met those people in Nashville, and they're no fun to be around. But it's good for your career in a lot of ways, being that person. It's just not good for your personal life. I don't have any answers. I just wanted to share this with you guys. If you guys have any answers, tell me, and I'll see you somewhere down the road. Much love to you.